At the age of 39, Samuel crossed paths with ARA, a young and attractive 25-year-old who had recently graduated from law school. From their very first encounter, ARA bewitched the mature man with her stunning physique, making it impossible for him to tear his eyes away. She happened to work as an assistant at a friend's firm, who also had his own desires for her. However, ARA stood tall like an impregnable fortress, thwarting every attempt the boss made to win her over. On the other hand, ARA's female colleague was more open-minded, gladly accepting gifts and flirting with Samuel whenever he paid them a visit. When Samuel suggested they go out for a meal at a restaurant, ARA agreed almost instantaneously, without a moment's hesitation. This delighted Samuel immensely. Their relationship blossomed gradually. ARA conducted herself like a true lady, leaving no room for suspicion regarding her character. This only fueled Samuel's desire even more. A year and a half later, they tied the knot. The future groom was showered with a splendid wedding celebration that would be cherished by their guests for years to come, particularly due to the bride's humble origins, from a village located far from the capital. ARA's parents were overjoyed that their daughter had settled so well and managed to establish both a successful career and personal life. After the wedding, the newlyweds returned to their own abode. Even though Samuel had offered for them to reside closer to him, ARA's parents promised to ponder the idea. The couple lived in bliss, cherishing the freedom of not having the responsibilities of parenthood. Samuel had a son from a previous marriage, and that was enough for him. ARA quickly found a common language with him, and they felt happy together. Samuel considered himself lucky to have found such a woman, as if he had hit the jackpot in life. He even jokingly remarked that he must have accumulated good karma in his previous life to be blessed with such an ideal partner. ARA excelled in all areas of life. She effortlessly balanced work, kept the house cozy and clean, and took good care of herself. Watching his beloved, Samuel couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. It seemed that their happiness was indestructible, until one day an important event disrupted their lives. One morning, while organizing the documents on his desk, Samuel stumbled upon an envelope that looked quite conspicuous. There was no stamp or return address to be found on it. In the top right corner, it was addressed to Samuel Coral. Curiosity piqued, Samuel was taken aback, as he had never received such peculiar letters before. He pondered if it was some kind of unique advertisement and cautiously tore open the envelope, revealing its contents on the table before him. Much to his disbelief, the table became adorned with dozens of photographs of his beloved wife. Some of the pictures depicted her from such unsightly angles and in unflattering poses that an involuntary wave of nausea washed over him, urging him to shield his eyes. He couldn't comprehend what he was witnessing. Samuel was convinced it must be someone's malicious prank, a product of some clever Photoshop manipulation. It was impossible for the cheerful and passionately loved ARA to be involved in this. He went out into the hallway and asked the receptionist who had delivered the package. The receptionist just raised an eyebrow and informed him that it was an ordinary courier wearing a canary-colored jacket. "I can't remember any other details, I'm sorry," the receptionist muttered, before disappearing through the door. After looking at the pictures carefully again, Samuel admitted that they were quite fresh. On ARA's arm was their shared tattoo, which they had gotten just 6 months ago to mark the anniversary of their love story. He decided to search the internet for similar images using the name. As expected, this venture did not bring results, but an image search revealed many intriguing mature-age websites. Samuel realized that this photo shoot was just a flower compared to those he stumbled across on the internet. He studied the website until his vision blurred. He spent the whole day locked up in his office, his mind shrouded in fog. He was habitually turning the envelope with the photos in his hands. A whirlwind of thoughts rushed through his head as he wondered what to do next. What he should tell his better half, and whether he should reveal anything at all. Before going home, he erased his browser history so that no one at home could find it. As soon as he crossed the threshold of the house, ARA greeted her husband with a warm, friendly smile. "We have spaghetti for dinner, just the kind you like," she sang cheerfully. Samuel looked at the woman he loved more than anything in the world and couldn't reconcile her with the rude girl in the photos. A wave of disgust swept over him, and he muttered that he was very tired and needed to sleep. He returned to the bedroom, collapsed into bed, and soon fell into a restless sleep. All night he was haunted by visions of exposing ARA's deception. Unable to bear his torment any longer, 2 days later, he threw an envelope with a compromising photograph on the table. Ara picked it up, her face paling and her eyes wide with horror, met her husband's gaze. "I can explain," she blurted out. "Then go on," Samuel barked. Ara explained that this was her friend Stubo, and he had asked her to help promote a project back in her student years when she was just starting out. Ara participated in similar photo shoots. They were a means to an end, helping her make ends meet. "Now why are you satisfied with what you have?" Her husband suddenly exploded. "I just wanted to help," Ara muttered. Samuel cursed furiously, shaking with rage. He accused her of betrayal, not knowing if their affair was limited only to photographs or if something more had occurred. Rumors circulated in such studios, and since she hid this activity from him, how could he now take her word for it? Ara was haggard, tears streaming down her face. She realized that she had made a mistake by crossing her husband's path, especially knowing his likely reaction to her secret activities. It was futile to convince Samuel of anything, particularly at this moment, as his mind was clouded with anger and hatred. Ara only hoped that he wouldn't resort to violence, although she knew deep down that Samuel wasn't capable of such actions. However, one can never predict the extremes a person might reach when consumed by rage. In the meantime, Samuel began ruthlessly emptying her belongings from the closet and shoving them into a massive garbage bag. He commanded her to pack up and leave. Ara felt genuine fear stemming from her husband's fury. Without a word of protest, she hastily grabbed the first jacket she could find, picked up the bag that Samuel had packed for her, and departed their apartment. As she left, the affronted man shouted after her that he would reveal everything to her parents, eager to shame her. Burning with tears and shivering from the cold, Ara found herself alone on the streets, uncertain of where to turn. She navigated the vast city, desperately lacking anyone to provide assistance. She had no choice but to reach out to her friend, the owner of a photography studio. He granted her temporary shelter under the condition that she would work for him. It wasn't long before Samuel initiated divorce proceedings, unaware of who had sent him the incriminating photographs of his wife. He found himself increasingly bothered by their purpose. Moreover, he began to realize that he might come to regret his decision to end their marriage. However, the deed was done, and there was no turning back. Struggling to earn a living, Ara intensified her work as a photographic model, agreeing to pose for a broader range of images, not only those of an intimate nature. Existing in the metropolis demanded adherence to its unique norms, and the lady required funds to cover the costs of her lease, apartment, and to put food on the table. Adult modeling seemed to offer a substantial income. There's no denying it. Ara was still longing for Samuel, habitually browsing his social media pages, monitoring his whereabouts and company. Alas, no man she'd encountered so far had proven to be a match worthy of her attention. Consequently, nearly all her leisure time was spent amidst fellow models and engaging with the ever-present bottle of spirits. Unnoticed by her, life was starting to take a turn for the worse, skidding down a slippery slope. Oh, Cheating Secrets podcast like me.